I don't think it's a tussle. Narayan Murthy has raised a very important issue about executive compensation. The company is built upon a value system where people cared about compensation at the bottom of the pyramid, at the software engineer and everybody. Now it has become topsy-turvy. And the compensation of the top people has gone up 3 times, 4 times in the last 3-4 years. And there is a question that has to be asked. He's asking the right question and people have to answer. It's a very large question for Indian industry too. Can you let executive compensation run riot? In America, it's run riot and create great problems. And the CEOs are walking away with a large amount of money and the performance is not adequate. In Europe, there's a matter of deep concern and they're trying to bring in legislation in the banking sector to limit the compensation. So I think he's raised very important issues which have to be debated.
So it's a matter of debate, sir, because people say that promoters, because they sit on a share, that they can afford to get less, but for professional compensation, does the argument hold right?
I don't think the argument is valid. What is the argument? The argument is what should be the multiple from the bottom to the top. It's a real argument. And we are an Indian company. We are not an American company, all right? And we are not a mercenary company, okay? We are a very different company. The Japanese don't pay very high compensation to executives. It depends on the culture that you come from. So I think we've got to be very careful about the culture, the value system of the corporation. So I think he's raised a very important question. And tomorrow if they don't perform, are you willing to sack them? I mean, it has to be indicated to performance, and the performance is indifferent.
Right.
So I think he's raised very important question. People have debated that, and he has the right to ask the question. He's classified as a promoter. He's the founder of the company.
Right.
And in India too, we need a larger debate all over India about what happens in public companies about executive compensation.
Right. So what do you make of the way of voicing these concerns? Could have these been done in more privately instead of going public?
In a transparent company, it has to be public. Why not? It's a listed company. Why should they be private tete-a-tete? When you have a private tete-a-tete, then you run into problems like lack of information dissemination. You run into problems about confidentiality and all that. So I think, if it's public, it's okay. What does it matter? So
this is also a proof that the truce has fallen apart. What do you see the issues?
I don't know what is this truce and other thing. There's a debate between the founders and who are classified as promoters in the SEBI and the board. The board has to take all the views into such thing. So I think it's a very important part of the debate. I don't agree with that malcontent investor from somewhere in Singapore who said they should care, because he's not a founder.
Right.
And he's not a promoter. He's not classified as a promoter. Now, can a promoter sell off all the shares? They can't sell the shares. They have no liquidity, right? They're bound by some trading regulations about promoter selling and all that. And that investor can sell off what he wants. So they're not in the same plane. You must remember that when you are a classified as a promoter in the SEBI under regulations, there are some obligations on you. And there are some duties that you have and response that you have.
My final question, sir. So do you see promoter exercising their right in this case?
Right for what?
Just like they haven't, for instance, Mr. Murthy has raised concerns and right in the sense that
see, institutional investors who hold the majority of shares have to come together and ponder about it, because they have an obligation to their investors. Okay, they have an obligation to the investor. They must ponder and look at governance issues. This is their duty. Now, there are two sets of institutional investors: Indian institutions and the overseas institutions. The overseas institutional investor will respond based upon their culture and their needs. They could be very different. But what about an LIC? What about the mutual funds in this country? They all have an obligation. They're here. They take the money of the Indian investors. They have a duty to their investors to debate this with Murthy and find out what are the right thing and tell the board. And the board has to consider different views. The board cannot go with one set of views saying, oh, we are like an American company. We can pay what we want compared to America. You're not earning money like an American company.
Right.
Okay. TCS has done much better. The CEO of TCS gets 26 crores for earning 24,000 crore profit. Now, there's nothing wrong with TCS. They're much bigger. They've grown much faster. And if Chandra could get only 26 crores, well, I mean, what is the need to pay 11 million, 70 crores, 80 crores? So I think there are issues. I don't have a solution. I don't have an answer. The board should consider all this. And what Murthy has done is a good thing to focus, raise the issue. The board should debate this.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow, and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.